Let's explain the numbers too.
Certainly.
People need to know how fucking crazy it is here in Texas.
The estimate here in Texas is between 2 and 4 million.
So literally more than the entire population of Austin.
In hogs. Spread out around the state.
Right now, something is gutting the American heartland. It's an invading army, bleeding the agricultural economy of $1.6 billion a year. And in Texas, the front line, they're hemorrhaging $871 million. This isn't a slow burn. It's a full-on hostile takeover. Feral hogs. They don't just eat, they obliterate. Peanut fields turn to dust, corn crops mowed down. They'll smash a custom irrigation system, snap a tractor's steel plow, or rip a livestock fence to shreds without blinking. We're talking millions of hours of backbreaking labor just wiped out. Meet Colt Miller. He's a Texas farmer, a hunter, and he's exhausted. The financial pressure is real, and the nightly patrols are breaking him. See, one sow can drop 2 litters a year, 8 piglets each time. This population doesn't just grow, it explodes, capable of doubling in under 6 months if we just sit back. And when the sun goes down, that's when the real ghost story begins. They own the night. Their smell, their hearing, it's supernatural. To the naked eye, they are purely invisible. Now Colt's got a new toy, a thermal eye drone that sees the unseen. But the real question is this tech finally the game changer Colt needs? Or is it just another expensive way to watch the smartest, most resilient pest on the planet outrun us again? They say you can't fight what you can't see. Let's see if that holds true tonight. Stick around for this fight, hit that subscribe button, and don't miss a single shot. Forget creeping through pitch-black brush on foot, blind to what is waiting 10 feet ahead. Colt Miller does not hunt in the dark anymore. He owns it. Sitting in his pickup at 2 in the morning with a hot cup of black coffee on the dashboard, he taps a screen, and a subtle electronic hum cuts through the Texas night. High above the soybean fields, at 400 feet, his Mavic 3 thermal takes to the air. Down here, you cannot see your own hand in front of your face. Up there, the world looks entirely different. It turns into a high-contrast map of raw energy where cold soil shows up as deep slate gray, and anything alive glows like a ghost in brilliant white. From that altitude, Colt is not just looking for animals. He is running a high-tech reconnaissance mission. The thermal camera slices right through the canopy, exposing every single creature moving across the ranch. Within seconds, a massive cluster of white heat signatures pops up near a damp creek bed. It is a full sounder, a mature matriarch, half a dozen adult females, and a swarm of energetic piglets kicking up dust as they move. Off to the side, lingering in the thick brush like a solitary mercenary, is a lone boar. Colt recognizes him immediately by his massive shoulders and heavy frame. This is where digital scouting turns into pure chess. Colt tracks their movement patterns, pinning exact GPS coordinates for their wallows, their wall-rubbing trees, and the precise gaps in the tree line where they enter the fields. But finding them is only half the battle. Equipped with a JZ T30 spotlight payload right on the drone, Colt can drop a pinpoint beam of blinding white light from hundreds of feet up, freezing the lead sow right in her tracks or revealing hidden terrain hazards that would break an ankle on the ground. Then comes the real trick, something Colt learned after months of trial and error in these fields. He drops the drone down to 60 feet, right above the herd. The high-pitched whine of the motor fills the air, echoing through the trees. Most wild animals would scatter, but feral hogs react differently to sound overhead. By carefully adjusting his flight path and angle, Colt uses that buzzing hum to subtly guide the herd. He gently pushes them out of the dense timber and herds them down the exact fence line he wants, steering them straight toward his primary target zone without causing a frantic, blind stampede that would send them scattering across 3 county lines. Now, a lot of folks see this setup and immediately ask the same question. Why not just mount a rifle to the bottom of the drone, program a flight route, and wipe them all out from the comfort of the truck cab? Well, the federal government has a very clear, very strict answer for that. FAA regulations and federal laws strictly prohibit weaponizing civilian drones. Mounting a firearm, explosive, or any lethal system to an unmanned aerial vehicle will instantly lose you your commercial license, land you in federal prison, and rack up massive fines faster than you can pull a trigger. Besides, any real hog hunter will tell you that a drone could never replace the boots on the ground. It is pure recon, an eye in the sky. It delivers live intelligence, pinpoints herd dynamics, and exposes their blind spots, but it cannot finish the job for you. The ultimate fate of these invaders still hinges on mechanical traps, steel gates, and precise marksmanship down on the dirt. The sky belongs to the sensors, but the real war is fought right here on the ground. Where are you watching this video from? Please tell us your country or city in the comments, and let's explore together. With the sounder moving exactly where he wants them, Colt lowers his controller, checks his gear, and gets ready for the main event. Up in the air, the digital map is fully drawn. Down below, the trap is waiting, and it is time to turn all that thermal data into a steel cage sifting through the dark. The thermal screen shows the sounder moving right down the tree line, heading straight toward the far edge of the pasture where Colt Miller spent all week sweating under the Texas sun. Out here, catching 1 or 2 hogs with a dog or a standard box trap is worse than useless. If you spook the rest, those survivors turn educated fast. They learn your smell, they avoid open fields, and they start moving exclusively at 3 in the morning through thick oak brush. The only way to win this game is whole sounder removal. You take out the entire group in one single move, or you do not bother at all. That is why Colt built a massive teardrop trap. It stands 5 feet high, constructed from heavy-duty steel utility panels anchored into the hard dirt with solid T-posts driven deep every few feet. The teardrop shape is pure engineering strategy. It gives the hogs plenty of room to file inside without feeling boxed in. And when they panic, the curved walls keep them moving in a circle, rather than slamming straight into a flat corner with enough force to breach the wire. These beasts easily weigh 200 to 300 pounds each, and when 20 of them hit a fence line together, it is like a high-speed car crash. Building the trap is only step 1. The real discipline comes with pre-baiting. For 7 straight days, Colt kept the heavy steel drop gate propped wide open, stringing a trail of golden-shelled corn from 50 yards outside, right through the funnel and deep into the wide belly of the enclosure. You have to let them eat in peace night after night until they lower their guard, until the lead sow decides this metal structure is just a free buffet instead of a death trap. If you drop the gate too early and leave half the sounder outside, you lose the war. Down on the ground, sitting 300 yards downwind behind a thicket of mesquite, Colt holds his breath and watches the live thermal feed. The sounder approaches the entrance. The big matriarch stops at the perimeter, her long snout testing the night air. This is the moment where everything hangs in the balance. One shift in the wind carrying human scent, one metallic click from a rifle sling, or one nervous piglet squealing out of place, and she will snort a sharp warning, sending 40 hooves thundering back into the timber in a split second. A whole week of labor, bait, and sleepless nights wiped out in 2 seconds. The sow takes 2 slow steps forward, her dark head dipping down to taste the corn. The rest of the herd follows her in, crowding through the narrow neck of the teardrop, vacuuming up every single kernel in their path. They push deeper and deeper, crowding toward the back where the main pile sits. Right at the very end of the enclosure, buried beneath a heap of corn, lies the trigger mechanism, a simple tension tripwire linked directly to a heavy-duty magnetic latch on the gate. The matriarch reaches the pile, shoving her heavy snout into the dirt to get the sweetest kernels at the bottom. Her thick neck catches the wire. The tension snaps. High above the entrance, the magnetic release fires, and the heavy steel gate drops like a falling anvil, slamming into the dirt frame with a deafening metallic thud that echoes across the silent pasture. Instantly, pure chaos erupts inside the steel ring. The darkness explodes into a frantic frenzy of squealing, grunting, and massive bodies slamming against the steel mesh. Mud and dirt fly through the air as 3,000 pounds of desperate, trapped muscle hurl themselves against the T-posts. The steel panels bow and flex, but the structure holds tight. The trap has done its job, sealing the entire sounder inside a cage they cannot root their way out of. If you want to see how Colt handles what comes next, and follow every step of this high-stakes battle against Texas invaders, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss an episode. With the trap secure and the sounder contained, Colt steps out of the truck, grabs his heavy flashlight, and starts walking down the dark trail. The initial capture is over, but as the dust settles inside the teardrop, the next phase of the operation is just beginning. Standing near the edge of the clearing as the dust inside the teardrop trap begins to settle, Colt Miller listens to the distant sounds of the Texas night. Humans might be the ones deploying high-tech drones and heavy steel cages, but Colt knows he is far from the only predator patrolling these grounds. Out in the dark, another native hunter is watching the whole scene play out from the shadows. The long, haunting yip of a coyote echoes across the dry creek bed, a stark reminder of the complex, brutal ecological war raging across this landscape every single night. When people first look at the feral hog crisis, they often ask why local wildlife cannot just keep the population in check. The truth is, native predators like coyotes are hopelessly outmatched by an adult wild boar. A mature hog is pure muscle, wrapped in thick hide, equipped with razor-sharp tusks, and fueled by a mean, aggressive streak that makes even a hungry pack of coyotes think twice. Coyotes are smart opportunists, not suicidal fighters. They know better than to pick a direct fight with a 200-pound sow guarding her litter. Instead, they rely on guerrilla tactics, lurking around the edges of a moving sounder, waiting for a distracted piglet to wander a few yards too far into the high grass. Sometimes a pair of coyotes will work together, one making noise to draw the angry sow away, while the other darts in from behind to snatch a young piglet out of the brush. It is a constant game of cat and mouse, but those occasional kills do practically nothing to slow down a species that reproduces faster than almost any other large mammal on the planet. While coyotes barely make a dent in the hog population, the hogs themselves are waging an all-out war on Texas native wildlife. The primary victims of this invasion are the state's iconic white-tailed deer, a population numbering around 3.6 million that forms the backbone of local ecosystems and hunting heritage. White-tailed deer are skittish, gentle browsers that rely on hard mast like acorns, native roots, and seasonal vegetation to survive the tough Texas winters. But when a sounder of feral hogs rolls into a grove of oak trees or near a supplemental feeder, they do not share. Hogs are aggressive bullies of the forest. They will actively charge white-tailed deer, slashing at them with their tusks and driving entire herds away from vital food and water sources. A deer simply cannot compete with the sheer intimidation and raw appetite of a hungry hog pack. Even worse than their aggression toward other animals is the catastrophic footprint hogs leave on the land itself. Feral hogs do not just graze on top of the ground, they tear it up from the inside out. Using their hardened, shovel-like snouts and massive neck muscles, they plow through the soil in a relentless search for roots, grubs, tubers, and earthworms. This behavior, known as rooting, completely flips the topsoil upside down, looking like a rototiller went crazy across miles of pristine pasture and forest floor. This destructive rooting wrecks native plant communities, destroying delicate seedbeds and allowing invasive weeds to take over the bare dirt. When heavy rains hit the Texas hill country, those churned-up fields offer zero resistance, causing massive topsoil erosion that washes tons of mud and silt directly into local creeks and rivers. As hogs wallow in those same streams to cool off, they dump waste and bacteria straight into the water, polluting critical freshwater habitats that fish, amphibians, and native land animals depend on for survival. Watching the moonlight glint off the freshly plowed dirt outside his trap, Colt realizes that catching hogs is about far more than protecting crops or farm equipment. It is an active rescue mission for the land itself, a desperate attempt to restore balance to an ecosystem being systematically dismantled by an unstoppable biological bulldozer. As the echoes of the coyotes fade into the distance, Colt turns his attention back to the steel cage in front of him. The capture was a success, but catching them is only half the battle, because what comes next is governed by a strict, unyielding set of state laws designed to make sure these invaders never get a second chance to tear up Texas soil. With the whole sounder safely locked inside the steel wire mesh, Colt Miller does not just get to pack up and celebrate. The moment those heavy gates slam shut, a strict, unyielding set of state laws takes over. Out here in Texas, wild hog control is not a Wild West free-for-all where anything goes. The Texas Animal Health Commission, or TAHC, enforces very precise regulations governing every single step of what happens next. The state treats these animals like a biological hazardous material, and if you step outside the legal lines, you can find yourself facing massive fines or losing your trapping permit before the sun even comes up. The legal framework hinges on a strict distinction based on gender and age, driven by one clear goal: stopping the population explosion dead in its tracks. Females, known as sows, alongside their piglets, represent the core engine of this invasive spread. Because a single sow can produce multiple litters every single year, the state enforces an absolute zero-tolerance policy. Catch and release for females or young pigs is completely illegal in the state of Texas. You cannot relocate a sow to another county. You cannot sell her alive to an unapproved buyer. And you cannot turn her loose under any circumstances. Once a sow enters a trap, her journey ends right there. Releasing a female back into the wild is treated as a major environmental crime, because dropping just one breeding female back into the brush is like throwing gasoline onto a forest fire. Male hogs, or boars, follow a slightly different legal path, but the bureaucratic chain of custody is just as tight. The state permits trappers to transport live boars, but exclusively to state-certified high-fence hunting preserves or authorized buyer facilities. However, you cannot just throw a wild boar into the back of a rusted stock trailer and drive down the highway. Before any male hog leaves the property, trappers must follow strict disease control and identification protocols. Each boar must be officially tagged with a state-issued ear tag or marked with a permanent identification tattoo, creating a traceable record linking that specific animal directly to the property where it was captured. Furthermore, holding these wild beasts requires specialized infrastructure. If you plan to keep live boars before transport, the law dictates they must be housed in a certified escape-proof facility. We are talking reinforced steel tubing, heavy cattle panels set in concrete, and double-latch gates capable of holding hundreds of pounds of furious, thrashing muscle. Even then, the clock is ticking the second they enter the holding pen. State regulations mandate a strict 7-day maximum holding period. You have exactly 1 week to process, tag, and transfer those boars to an approved buyer, or they must be humanely euthanized on site. There are no exceptions, no extensions, and state inspectors do make unannounced farm visits to verify compliance. As Colt inspects the tags in his gear bag, under the beam of his headlamp, the harsh mathematical reality of this entire operation sets in. Night after night of flying drones, building teardrop traps, and navigating state paperwork feels like a massive undertaking. But on a statewide scale, it is a constant uphill battle. Texas is currently home to an estimated 2 to 3 million feral hogs. Biologists calculate that simple hunting, recreational shooting, and small-scale trapping only scratch the surface. To simply keep the wild hog population flat, meaning zero net growth, Texas landowners and state agents must eliminate roughly 66% of the total population every single year. That comes out to removing over 1.7 million hogs annually just to stay even, without making a single dent in reducing the baseline numbers. It is a sobering, exhausting statistic that keeps farmers like Colt up at night. A single good catch in a teardrop trap is a small victory, but the sheer reproductive power of these animals means the pressure never backs off for a single day. If you want to keep following Colt's fight on the front lines and learn how landowners are tackling this massive ecological crisis with tech and grit, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you do not miss a single update. With the legal requirements accounted for and the plan set for processing the sounder, Colt turns toward the final stage of the night. Catching the hogs and following the law is done, but turning a destructive pest into a valuable resource is where the hard work pays off on the dinner table. As dawn breaks over the Texas pasture, Colt Miller finishes processing the harvest. Harvesting wild game comes with serious health protocols. Feral hogs carry dangerous biological threats like brucellosis and trichinella parasites. Colt never handles field dressing without heavy nitrile gloves, and he ensures every cut of wild pork reaches an internal temperature of at least 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Older boars carry a strong boar taint from high testosterone, but with bold spices, slow smoking, and marinades, that lean meat transforms into exceptional smoked sausages and savory jerky. Beyond the meat and the tech, this fight leaves us with a deeper truth. High-tech thermal drones give us an incredible eye in the sky, but technology alone will never win this war. The real victory belongs to human resilience, discipline, and a profound respect for the land. Life constantly throws relentless challenges our way, multiplying faster than our solutions. But when we combine smart tools with unwavering grit, we hold the line. Are we smart enough to outrun an invasive force that adapts faster than our newest innovations? Or will nature always find a way to stay one step ahead? I want to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below with your perspective on this battle. If you enjoyed taking this journey with us, please hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friend. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and I will see you all in the next video.